Hey everybody, and welcome back to Pixel Junkies.
Hey there.
We're this week here doing Pixel Junkies podcast, episode 136.
You got the right number.
I did.
I'm so frazzled at the number that you got it.
This week we're joined by host Adam
And not Rory and me,
yes.
Aaron.
Because nobody else wanted to bother to be on this thing, and we have no.
Rory's doing some sort of job or something.
Is he?
I don't know.
Because
Well, I mean, he couldn't come, so
he told me he was hanging out with Sandy.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I assumed he was doing papers or whatever shit that he does.
Oh yeah, no, he's hanging out with Sandy. So
Cool.
we're playing. What are we playing?
Playing
Mario Odyssey, right?
Oh yeah.
This
Oh
is
right,
Super
because
Mario
it's
Odyssey?
current.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get to explore planets such as
Just like the regular Odyssey.
New York, not New York City.
Yeah.
And
How long? How far out do you have to explore to become a T-Rex?
About this.
Okay, let's go there.
Yeah. So you can
So
see
that-
it right there.
Yeah. There it is. The
There it
T-Rex.
is. And all
Jesus
that
Christ.
Switch fidelity.
Already vaping. We're only
Vaping.
minutes in.
That's just something else.
Well,
We're starting a bit
whatever.
late this week. It's currently 5 after 10, which is way later than we normally do this. But
yeah. And it's
things-
partly my fault.
well, maybe. Things transpired that were stupid, so.
We're out of our control.
But
But
do you want to elaborate on?
yes, so me and my friends went
happened?
to go to this. There's a paintball place near where
Was it Frontline? Is that the name of the place?
Frontline, yes, Frontline Paintball. If you're in the
Shout out
Greater
to
St. John's
Frontline
area.
Paintball.
They're a good spot. You know, they do paintball.
They're
do
pretty
laser
alright,
tag,
yeah.
that stuff. And they have every year they have this event called the Zombie Train, and I've never gone, except I have now, but I didn't go in the past when they had it. So I went this evening, and there was a bit of a confusion and mix-up in terms of when we were going to go. So we were actually waiting around for some people, but it was more of a miscommunication.
That's why I didn't go.
That's why Aaron didn't go. It's also $35 for about 15 minutes.
15 minutes?
Yeah.
I was told it was a half an hour.
It was closer to 15 minutes.
So that's $2 a minute, basically.
Well, to be fair, it can be
$2.25
anywhere
a
from
minute.
$20 to $35, but $35 gets you 300 rounds of ammunition.
Do you need that many for 15 minutes?
No, you really only need 200.
You can get like 200 balls for like an hour-long session and not use them all.
Okay, so what happens is you're on like a short bus, and there's
Again, I thought it was a
paintball
train.
guns mounted on like rotating gimbals, and these gimbals, the bus takes you to 3 different zones. Sorry, and when you get there, you get to like guys come out dressed as zombies, and you light them the fuck up. Like there's like 11 people on the bus, and then the bus itself is hauling a trailer that has 8 people in it, and there's like maybe 10 zombies coming towards the bus. So it's just like we got there and we're like, so like I wonder how many people there are on the bus and how many rounds of ammunition you get, and then you just hear like and it's just like the most intense firefight breaking out in the back of the woods, and we're like, oh, okay. And so we get on this thing, we go to the first stop, and the guy behind us like, shoot the zombies, shoot them.
What the one, the instructor guys or whatever?
Yeah, just the guy like on the thing, and so we start lighting them up, and one guy came around the corner, and like 10 people shot him like 15 times in the face. It was like, if you've ever seen RoboCop. It's like the scene where I forget the character's name, but where the RoboCop gets shot in the beginning of the movie, where it's just like, and they're just like laying into this guy with like thousands of rounds of ammunition. It was exactly like that.
Is there a reason to shooting them? Like, do they run at the bus?
Yeah, they run at they slowly advance towards the bus.
And so, can you like die or whatever?
No,
So why shoot them?
I don't know.
Because like when Jordan, okay, this was Jordan's idea. We should preface, which is why it was a fucking shit fest.
Throwing him under the bus.
He originally said that there was a zombie paintball thing, so it's like, okay, in my head this was like shoot cardboard cutouts of zombies or like animatronic zombies or something. Except it would just be cardboard cutouts because it's Newfoundland and we don't have the money for that shit. But then he said, like, no, they're real people. So then the idea in my head was, okay, you're literally, like, you're a group of people in the middle of the woods, and there's zombies like advancing towards you. It's a horde of zombies, and you need to kill them all and like run away. And then Jordan said it was like, no, it's on a train or something. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm not interested anymore, really. Which it turns out it wasn't even a train; it was a friggin' short bus
with a like a caravan on the back.
Yeah, and like mounted guns or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like not.
I will say it was fun to like just absolutely light up guys coming.
Yeah.
Like 10 guys coming towards you and see them absolutely get plastered. Like they were already green, and it was just like.
It's just such a shitty job. Oh my god.
It really was. They got, because I don't know if you've ever been hit by paintball, but it hurts like hell.
Yeah.
And so these guys were just, and I imagine there must be, because they were all in like overalls and stuff. So I imagine there were just like layers of newspaper and like cloth and stuff taking the brunt of the impacts. But like, fuck.
And in my mind, they weren't wearing masks. They were just like, I was picturing like legit zombie makeup people, and you just peppered them with paintballs, but. Like, could you tell they were zombies at all?
Oh yeah,
or they
you
just
could tell.
So, like, what was the difference? Did they have makeup or anything?
They had. I imagine they had like a paintball mask on, and then over that they had a like a zombie.
Oh, okay,
rubber
I
mask.
see. Okay.
And they had like chainsaws and like that kind of stuff.
Oh, okay.
Some of them did get fairly
zombie
close
things.
to the bus, I will say, and they started like rattling the gun, so we had to like. Yeah, as we were driving away from each area, but they slowly advanced on us. But one dude came around like there was like a wooden building, and he came around the wooden building, and like he literally just like it was like out of like a Vietnam thing where like everyone in the choppers just shooting at this one guy. Like, and Jordan at the end was going like, cause like we're the semi-automatic, so it's like pop 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 pop, so you get a fairly fast rain of fire.
Yeah.
But he was double fingering, so it's like.
like rocking his fingers.
Yeah, so he was getting like his rate. It sounded like an automatic weapon. It was just like.
Dude, that's funny. Except it's just literally money flying out of the end of his gun.
Well, it was the last round, so he had. It was like spend whatever you have.
Yeah. I've done a couple of sessions there for like stag parties and stuff, and it's a fun spot. But
yeah,
there's really like. Apart from
just,
wanting to shoot a bunch of bullets or balls at one time, there's no need to at all.
No, I wouldn't go again.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I didn't have fun, because I did have a lot of fun.
It's just really expensive.
It is a bit expensive. But check it out, maybe. I wouldn't pay the $35. I would only pay the $30.
Plus, it's not as... I don't know, just paintball to me, like, doesn't... I was talking about this with Sandy earlier in the week, actually, and he kind of agreed with me. And I would expect him to be, the guy, because he's all about, like, turbo combat and shit, yeah. Shitty M-class system. The guy, yeah. But, yeah, I mean, the issue that I have with paintball is most of the time, if you have your own gun and you spend a lot of money on it, I'm sure this doesn't factor into it. But for the most part, if you're just a casual person going to a place where they give you a
filthy fucking
kind of a generic gun, like you can't, like the gun shoots in random directions depending on the wind and how much CO2 is left in it.
Yeah, well, we had like they had UV lights come on that illuminated the area, and the paint balls themselves were like
glow in the dark or whatever.
Yeah, so they were incandescent.
But it's too random for you to be good at.
That's what I'm saying. You could see where it was almost like traces. You can see where I'm going, and I would like shoot like bop bop bop, and the paint would go like.
Yeah, 3 different areas at 3 different arch angles, like 3 different velocities.
Yeah,
that's just like the one that we were doing. It was I guess it was like kind of like a Omaha Beach type set piece.
Oh yeah.
Where there was 2 little like plywood crow's
Omaha
nests.
Beach. So it's like 2 guys up in a pillbox.
No,
like,
well,
you come into the course and just immediately die, drowning in water.
Well, that's kind of the way it was. I don't know where you were.
See the best man pick up his arm and like walk off with it. A bunch of guys get killed because the flamethrower gets
Omaha
hit.
Beach Simulator. Well, it was like a long. It wasn't a beach, obviously. It was the woods, but it was like kind of like a gravel pit that was leveled and had a hill on one end and trees on the other end. And one team would stay up in the pillboxes, the crow's nest or whatever, and the other team had to storm them. And obviously not all die. Once you get hit, then you're out, and then you'd swap sides or whatever. But just from that, like for me, sitting at the edge of the tree line, like the guys I were with, some of them were really good and they weren't really good at working with teams, and the rest of them were just like ran up the hill and died immediately. So I was hiding behind like a plywood tank for most of it, because as soon as you moved at all, like as soon as an atom of your coveralls went around the corner, it was like, you're like, all right, well, I can't move because they know where I am and nobody else is moving up.
That's when you need a lot of teamwork, because you'd be like, you guys start just like,
yeah, like suppressing fire or whatever. And I call out some of that stuff, like, you know, cover me or put off a few shots to, you know, let me run up a bit. But that never happened. So I just stayed behind the tank, and the guys were like, you gotta move up. And I'm like, fuck you. And so I was just shooting from there, and every single shot, it was like I held the gun on one spot, and I just went everywhere. It's like I'm trying to hit one guy at the top of the hill, and I can't do it.
I mean, there's a reason the bullets are now conical and they spin when they come out of the barrel, because it makes it much more accurate than balls.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you about the worst ever paintball experience I ever had?
Cool.
So it was for my friend's birthday.
Looks like we got an Earth-like.
Ooh, cool. It was for my friend's birthday, and he invited. There was a couple of guys there, but it was mostly girls, and so there were maybe two guys on each, two guys on each team, and then like 6 girls on each team. And I'm not trying to be sexist, but there is a gender thing here. The girls were
very progressive, Adam.
Bookish, and they weren't very much into running around in the woods type.
Yeah.
Anyway, so let's say it was me, and it wasn't Aaron, but let's say it was me and Aaron on one team and Andrew and Rory on the other one. So we sprinted up immediately. All 4 of us found each other, and we all shot each other immediately. So we walked off the field, and then the girls on either team stayed in the starting area for an hour and a half, and we didn't get to play again.
So what? Why did they?
Or however long the match was, or
why
whatever.
did they even go?
The girl, I don't know, but we kept, like, eventually we were like, is anybody moving up? And they're like, I don't think so. So we were shouting at them from, like, the wait area, like, you guys gotta move up. And then we heard, like, no. So they just stayed in the wait area.
So they're just afraid or something?
I guess, because, like, I guess it's been built up in their mind that the paintball is hurting. They do, but it's more like a. It's
a very brief, slight sting, unless you're shooting from, like, point blank.
Yeah, in which case that hurts. Like, I did get shot point blank as well. At another friend's birthday party.
I was gonna say, like, how would you have gotten shot?
No, I did get hit with paint spray, though, because I think me and my friend Aria, we were sitting together, when we shot at the same time, and the paintballs collided in midair, because suddenly I got sprayed with paint. But that's a lot of hurricanes.
Yeah, there's a few on there, isn't
there? Yeah, so we were waiting for an hour, and that was we only got to play, 10 minutes. Or, however long it took us to shoot each other. And it was really annoying, and that was, the only round we got to play. I can't remember exactly what happened. It was either the only round or the last round. It was completely wasted. But there was another time where I was playing paintball, and, I got shot in the face. Like, in the mask. So, I poked my head around the corner, and it was like, and I was like immediately, and I'm like, all right, I'm out. And so I stood up, and I was saying, I'm out. And so there's 2 players on the other team. We'll call them Hugh and John. And John sees me, because I don't want to use their real names. John sees me. I have the gun above my head, and I'm shouting out, I'm out, as I'm walking off the field, and I'm, within 10 feet of him, 15 feet, and he just, shoots me 5 times. So I'm like, I'm out! God, stop shooting me! And John's teammate, Hugh, sees John do that to me, and John's more friends with me than he is with, or Hugh's more friends with me than he is with John.
Yeah.
So Hugh just, comes up behind John, and from 5 feet away just goes off his back, and he starts screaming because Hugh's a fair bit older than John. John's only 14 and a really shitty 14-year-old, and he starts screaming, and he's like, "Oh man, I guess somebody shot you in the back. Sucks." Man.
Yeah, I've been shot at point blank as well. Not fun.
Hurts like hell.
Well, I got shot on the bare skin of my neck from about 2 feet away.
Who shot you that far? Because you're not supposed to shoot. You're just supposed to say, "Got you."
Yeah, I don't know who it was actually. It was at one of these stag parties, and I don't know who the guy was. I don't even remember his face, so I'm not entirely sure who it was.
An
But
asshole.
I had gotten shot,
Yeah.
and so I was like, "Fuck!" And it was kind of in like they called it the COD map, because it was kind of like a
Close quarters.
yeah, it was like a kind of like a shanty town type scenario.
Yeah.
That spot. And so I got hit, so I like came around one of the buildings, and I like, put your hands up and raise your gun and say, I'm hit. And then immediately, like a second after I say that, like as loud as I could, dude pops around the corner and like puts the barrel on my neck just about, and I'm like, Jesus, man, I'm fucking Christ almighty, I'm out.
I like the execution style. That like fucking Agent 47 round the corner, like it's like now I can wear his uniform, which is the exact same pair of green overalls that I'm wearing.
Yeah, and the stupid I shot my cousin in the balls from like 8 feet away.
Must have hurt like hell.
Probably, yeah. He grabbed his nuts and stuff. I was hiding behind a bus, and I was totally expecting somebody to come from the other direction. It's like, because I heard like footsteps. I'm like, okay, there's a guy there, so I'm gonna turn around. And so when I did, as I was turning around, my cousin came from the short end. And I was just whipped around and like unloaded, and it just so because I was kneeled down, it just so happened that like the center of his mask lined up, or like the center of my shot lined up with his junk, and then so he just grabbed his. I was like, fuck. That was funny.
I was playing once. This was a special event I got invited to because one of my friends who used to play all the time, because he went so often, he got invited to this kind of like this club members event, and he was able to bring a buddy, and so he brought me. And we were playing, and it was a bunch of really professional guys, and I didn't know what I was doing, but I managed to get a couple of, I shot one guy, I think, and I actually managed to stay in the game for a long time. And it was getting kind of dark out, and it was, how, it was in the summertime, so it was around 8 o'clock, and it's in the woods, so you can't really see very well. So we were like, some guy, stood up from the tree and started walking just across the map, and I hadn't seen anybody for a long time, so I said, oh, there's a person, and I think 3 other people on my team thought the same thing, and 3 other people on the other team thought the same thing, because you just hear, and then some guy shouts out, I'm the ref! And he holds that he has no gun, and we lit the ref on, and we're like, oh shit.
I'm the ref. That's funny.
And one guy had a grenade, like a paintball grenade, and he tossed it at us. So I guess what it was supposed to do was just explode like a big, almost like a water balloon.
Yeah, this was splatter you with paint or whatever.
Yeah, and so so there's like a little fort that we were holding, and he runs up and he tosses it in, and he's like, grenade! He tosses it in, so we're like, oh shit! And we kind of try to back out of the way, and then it's just like, and the guy pokes his head around, I was like, I paid $70 for that!
$70.
Or however much he paid.
Jesus, yeah, they are expensive.
And somebody shot him.
I don't think they're that expensive, but they're
or however
expensive.
much, but he was like, I paid whatever for that, and it didn't work.
Oh, I'm going way too fast. Oh well, we'll just zip by this gas giant.
Can't you just slow down?
Oh, I mean, I can, but go too fast. Yeah, I mean, I guess other things also happened this week, other than various paintball stories.
It's a good story to thing to talk about, though. Paintball stories.
Yeah, I mean, it's a slower week, so we pad a third of the podcast with paintball nonsense. I don't know what else we want to talk about. I guess one of the bigger stories. I don't know if we touched on this last week. Was it a last week thing or was it a this week thing?
I think it kind of happened at the end of last week. We didn't really get to mention it because I don't think it happened by the time our podcast came out. By the time we recorded it, I mean.
Yeah, you're referring to Visceral's.
Yes. Yeah. So EA shut down Visceral. I don't think any of us are really surprised by that.
Yeah. I mean, it's obviously it's unfortunate. It's a kind of a shitty thing, but I very much feel like what Visceral's wanted to do for a while isn't what EA has wanted them to do. Because it's resulted in a lot of kind of mediocre games, not so much Visceral's fault.
I mean, like, if you don't know who Visceral is the guy, the team behind the Dead Space series, which I personally don't like. I'm not a huge fan of Dead Space as a game series. At the same time, I can appreciate that a lot of people do really like it, and I can also appreciate that it is a good game, which is not for me. it was one of the few mainstream horror games to come out in the last generation. And it didn't make Call of Duty money, but it was making money. It was doing pretty well, but apparently that wasn't enough for EA, so they kind of micromanaged the fuck out of it, out of the third one, and made it into like this super action, multiplayer, loot box, whatever EA does, thing to
They have
this.
loot boxes?
No, I don't think it had loot boxes, but I think there was a lot of tomfoolery going around. I can't exactly remember what happened, but I know a lot of people were pissed off at the fucking loot, or at the multiplayer aspects, because you know what's really scary is, instead of being one heavily armed space marine with a array of assault weapons, there's two heavily armed space marines with an array of assault weapons. That's really scary, because fear is always the best, is always scariest when you have a buddy along. So that did mediocrely, and then EA got the deal with Disney where they're going to make every Star Wars game from now on, for better or worse, and which was a terrible Sunday morning comic, but whatever. So Visceral was working on a single player game from for Star Wars, and some details about that got released. It was going to be called, they didn't have a name for it yet, but the project title was going to be called Ragtag, yeah, whatever. And it was going to be focused on they said it would be a broken mirror to Han Solo, so like a Han Solo smuggler kind of, handsome rogue kind of character, but much darker, a much more dangerous underworld seedy story than like you get in the Star Wars movies.
Well, it originally, Visceral were working on a game already before EA approached them about doing a Star Wars game, and it was apparently a pirate game. And I guess think Black Flag, because at the time EA said, or they approached Visceral and said, we're gonna kind of cancel this project because Black Flag came out, and I guess it kind of scratched the itch that game did. And so they then adapted a lot of the concepts to a Star Wars game, where I guess you would play a very similar kind of piratey smuggler group.
And you'd have a team of NPCs apparently along with you
that you could swap between. So you could play as any of them, and when you weren't playing as the other ones, the AI would control them. Yeah,
it sounded pretty cool.
It sounded really cool.
It's a shame we're not going to get to see that.
I guess it was going to be more RPG oriented, but then Amy Hennig from Naughty Dog came on, and she wanted to do a linear story, kind of like, I guess, like a cinematic linear story, like Uncharted. And that once again changed the direction of the game. And I think then they said it kind of went beyond their means to like the scope the game had for a lot of the being able to play as different characters and different story arcs and stuff.
Now, at the same time, that being said, EA has come out and said that, because a lot of rumors came around that the reason that that Visceral was shut down and this game was canceled is because EA wants to focus more heavily on multiplayer games in the future, more on a loot box, microtransactions based economy in the future. And EA has come out and denied that. I don't believe it for a second. I don't necessarily believe that's the reason why this project this project was shut down. I do believe it played a part in it, because I don't think EA wants to make single player games in the future. The fact that we got a single player experience in Battlefront 2 astounds me.
And honestly, I guess depending on how that goes,
we'll see. I mean, people are saying, like, is this the end for single player based games? Absolutely not. But is it the end of EA and Activision making single player games for the time being? Maybe. Probably. I mean, they can't ram. They tried to ram I honestly think, if, depending on how Shadow of War does with its single-player based microtransactions, we might see more single-player games come out of these AAA developers, but ruined with microtransactions, which I don't want. I'd rather they're not making them at all, because, frankly, I think that I honestly would have liked to have seen what Shadow of War looked like without all the microtransactions, because I honestly think it would have I've heard that the end game is atrocious for grind and just being unable to beat it without microtransactions. So, because they are right, you can beat the game without microtransactions. But from what I hear, to get the true ending, you pretty much need microtransactions, or you're gonna be in for one hell of a grind.
Yeah.
Which is awful. It's awful. That's not what single player games should be, in my opinion. So I think that I'm not surprised that EA is kind of going in that direction. At the same time, I'm also not surprised that they shut down Visceral, because that's exactly what EA does. They gobble up these companies. They get them to make a couple of games for them. By the time the third or fourth game comes out, EA is pretty heavily coming down with what they do and do not want in this game. They're micromanaging the shit out of it. The game ultimately doesn't do poorly. Like, let's take an example here. Let's take Mario. Let's say EA had bought Nintendo, and Nintendo was making Mario games for EA. So the first Mario game would be good.
God, what a universe that'd be.
I know, right? The first Mario game would be good. The second Mario game would be good. The third Mario game would have a lot of multiplayer elements forced in and microtransactions. The game wouldn't do well because that's not what Mario was about. Mario was about single-player platforming. The fans wouldn't really buy it. It wouldn't make EA as much money as they want. They would shut down. Then they would cancel all future projects. Shunt Nintendo off to be like a backup developer, or to do a lot of like porting. And then eventually they would just sell off the assets, sell off shuffle the company's personnel around to other EA owned, subdivisions or partners.
I mean, that's what they do. They just suck them dry and then
like a vampire.
Scuff the
Halloween.
Or sweep the remnants under the rug.
I mean, like, what's the list of developers that EA has just annihilated? Like, hang on, I'm gonna get the list up. I don't have my phone on me because it's charging, but
yeah. Well, in the meantime, I'll just say that what we're doing in Elite here is just exploring a little bit. Haven't really done one of these videos. And I was already playing this when Adam came over, so...
And it was late, so late.
Yeah, it is late, so we decided to just do this. Explore around space a little bit. Uncharted regions. Found an Earth Lake. I honestly didn't think we were going to do that on the podcast itself.
So here are the defunct studios that EA has owned and since destroyed. Yep. They own Origin Systems, who did Wing Commander and the Ultima series, among many others. They did Bullfrog Productions. They did Maxis Games, which was Sims and that kind of stuff.
SimCity and stuff, yeah.
They did Westward Studios.
Command and Conquer.
Yep. They did.
Yeah. I think Westwood, right?
They did Pandemic, which did a lot of the Star Wars games, among others.
Yeah.
Pandemic was great. They did Playfish. They did Danger Close Games, Victory Games, Mythic Entertainment, which I forget what they did. They did something I really liked.
So I mean, really, what we need here is.
And then they've closed down a bunch of they've closed down EA Seattle, EA Baltimore, that sort of thing.
We need small studios to not sell out to big corporations.
Yeah, because EA is not the only one that does it.
Stop doing that.
EA is not the only one who does it. Stop doing it. But they're definitely the most vicious. So
yeah.
But I mean, like what are some of these like developers that have gone down? Like there was a time when Origin Systems could do no wrong. Like back in the late 80s, early 90s, Origin Systems was the computer video, PC gaming studio.
Yeah.
Because the Ultima games were the RPG for computers, and Wing Commander was the space simulator. The space combat simulator. I mean, and they had a bunch of other games, and then they were bought out by EA. They turned Ultima. Ultima 8 was ruined because they shunted all of the coders off of that game to make Ultima Online because they saw more money in Ultima Online, and then when when Origin Systems wanted to make Ultima 9 and make it a lot better than what Ultima 8 was, EA said, no, you can't do that because we expect Ultima 9 to come out in a year from now. And they're like, but we have like half the staff we need, and like we need at least 2 years. And EA's like, well, you're doing it, or we're gonna shut you down. So they did it, and it was a total flop. It was an absolute failure. And then EA was like, oh, you can't make games. This was a failure. We're gonna essentially break you up.
Yeah, and I guess that's the thing too. I mean, I guess the enticement from larger companies now is, oh, we'll just give you so much money, you can make whatever project you want. We've mentioned this on the previous podcast, and that's enticing to small developers where they can have infinite money to make the game they want. But then obviously it falls away from there. And I mean, at the same time, we also live in a world where games like Star Citizen can be crowdfunded and make 150 million. So it's like, at this point, if you're a small studio, just don't stop selling out to big corporations. Just crowdfund your game. Like if it's gonna be successful anyway, it's going to be a popular crowdfunding campaign.
Yeah.
So I mean, just don't oversell the Kickstarter or whatever it is, and
I mean, like there have been some Kickstarters that have flopped.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of those that have oversold the idea, and
No Man's Sky being one of them, another one being a Mighty Number 9. These Kickstarters that flop, but at the same time, for every failed Kickstarter, there's 2 good ones. Because I mean, where Yooka-Laylee kind of came out and was wasn't that well received, A Hat in Time has come out and people are ranting and raving. It's currently, I think, got a 10 on Steam, and it has a 10 out of 10, and I think it has like an 80 or 90 on Metacritic.
And that ultimately, I mean, Frontier, the people who made this game, I mean, Elite, we're playing it right now. This was crowdfunded.
Imagine if Frontier was bought out by EA.
Yeah, I mean, they searched for 10 or 12 years for a publisher for Elite 4, which is what Dangerous is. We got Pneumonia World here. And
a lot of pee.
It wouldn't be the game it is if it had been. Like if it was sold to Activision or EA or
here's
anybody.
Here's the thing: the ships would all cost 100 million credits, and you would be one mission would gain you 15 credits. So it's like, oh well, you can just buy one of these star cards. You can buy a gas giant card, which gives you 15 million credits. You can buy
if it came
Brown
out
Dwarf.
now.
Yeah, if it came out,
it
now.
would have come out like before 2012 had they found a publisher.
Yeah.
But
then they would have had a bunch of DRM bullshit.
They would have had like DRM stuff, and I mean, even
Everything
back then they had
behind DLC.
Yeah, the pre-order crap and all that stuff.
Christ, this like, I don't know if it's just where the veil has been pulled back from my eyes. The more I kind of look into it, but like, there's some shady shit going on in this fucking industry.
Absolutely. I mean, it's all money-making schemes. I mean, it's very.
I mean, obviously
very scummy in some cases.
I mean, obviously they're products to make money. That's the purpose of video games. Ultimately, is to make money. Yeah. But at the same time, there's a level of art in it as well. There is artistry in video games.
Yeah.
And I get games made purely for the purpose of money, but at the same time, when you have a company like Visceral, who makes good games, who makes games that people want to play, and then EA breaks them down because it's not making all of the money. It's not that it wasn't making money, it wasn't making all of the money.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, like, again, Frontier is a poster child because of this game's success. It ultimately gave them money to... I mean, and of course this game has microtransactions as well, though albeit they're far less intrusive than most games. Like the jack-o'-lantern that I have on my ship there, I think that was like $2 or $3. And I mean, like, it's not something I need, but that's the level of microtransactions in the game.
Plus, like, how many hours have you put into this game?
2,500.
Yeah, so like, when you're getting into that level, when the game is that good, like if I'm playing, like, like Mass Effect. If Mass Effect came out, I put so many hours into Mass Effect that when they came out with like little weapon DLCs and stuff, I'm like, yeah, I'll buy that because I like this game. It was a good product. It came out a full finished product. I don't mind paying a little bit, for this optional weapon. But it's when it's not optional. It's when you're dicked around by the company, when they try to give you the least amount of product for the most amount of money. That's when I start to shake my head.
But again, because of this game's success,
sorry, I keep interrupting.
We got games like Planet Coaster, like
and the new Jurassic Park game.
Yeah, I mean, those exist because of Elite's success. Like, And that's the cool thing, because it's like they've created an ecosystem where they can crowdfund a game that ends up being successful, so then they can go on to self-publish 2 more titles. One of them being probably the best tycoon game ever, just for the sheer amount of customization that you have. I mean, you can like make stuff that's not even roller coaster or theme park related in that game. It's so elaborate. And then something that's licensed like Jurassic Park Evolution. Now, obviously it's not out yet, but I'm going to assume that game is going to be awesome.
Well, I mean, they've had a good track record so far. So.
Yeah, I mean, and the footage they've showed looks really promising, and the developer, one of the, Michael Brooks, one of the lead developers, one of the lead producers for this game, Elite, moved over to Jurassic Park Evolution, and he's like probably one of the biggest, apart from Adam, Jurassic Park fans. So, I mean, he's the guy to have heading that project. And just to listen to him talk at the Frontier Expo earlier in the month.
I hope they have a lot of different dinosaurs.
Just to listen to him talk about, like, being able to modify the genome for dinosaurs in the game to, like, make, make custom, or flying into the planet, because I thought that was space for a second.
I thought it was space, too. Do you think that's actually going to happen sometime in real life, or is it just like, oh, look, there's space? Oh, shit!
Alright, just speed boost here. Oh, shit.
Just see, why are there mountains in space?
Yeah. But yeah, just to listen to him talk about it, it's really promising, because he gets all giddy about it, and the artists that they have working on the project, they looked up to like the animation in Jurassic Park back then. Like, they were kids back then, and now they're
making
lead animators on like making the dinosaurs, and they were very adamant about making the dinosaurs right. And for that matter, they actually have who makes the film? Warner Brothers or Fox?
Jurassic
or something?
Park?
Yeah,
Universal.
They got the CAD files from Universal from Jurassic World.
That's cool.
And like the other things, and they're actually using those models in the film from the films in the game, and they're just basically rigging them for.
Now they can only do that
video game.
There's only like 5 dinosaurs in the original Jurassic Park movie.
Yeah, but I mean, like, all throughout, like, from World and from the other ones that were CG and stuff.
I hope they add, like, a ton of different dinosaurs, because I hate, like, this is the problem with Zoo Tycoon. The first Zoo Tycoon, which was a great game back in the day. I don't know how well it holds up now, but I remember playing, like, just loving the shit out of that game. Was that by Frontier as well?
Zoo Tycoon, I think it was.
Yeah. One of the expansions, because I got like the super complete edition, and it came out. It was Zoo Tycoon, Waterworld Tycoon, and it was essentially Jurassic Park Tycoon.
Yeah,
it wasn't called that, but it was like prehistoric adventures or whatever. And you got to build your own zoo, and you could have sea creatures, and you can have dinosaurs in it as well. And I mean, keep in mind, this came out in like 2000, so we're not talking like a huge game or anything like that. But they had maybe 20 dinosaurs, but it was like I want them to be able, because we're in a game, because Frontier made a game where literally you can travel every goddamn fucking star in the goddamn galaxy. I hope they add in more than 20 dinosaurs.
I would assume so. I mean, they showed a fair few.
I mean, look at all those stars. You can go to all of them. Every single slagging one.
Let's turn on this. And then just go to we gotta go to the center. You want to see them all. The frame rate is about to tank. Warning. There we go.
Jesus, Murphy. Can you imagine if they didn't do this procedurally, if they had to friggin' do every single one by hand? How nuts.
Oh my
Do you think you get to a point where like hanging in space instead of a star would just be a post-it note being like, developers, I'm sorry, but like my wife was yelling at me that I'm never home and I missed my kids and this is the 8,000th star I've had to program. I'm sorry. I just phoned it in. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't. It would never come out. Since his game has been out for almost 3 years, and we've discovered like 4 million systems, I think.
And it's probably like what one millionth of the actual.
It's like, yeah, it's a thousandth of a percent. So
of a percent of the stars.
Would it be? Yeah, I don't know.
It's a tiny number.
There's 400 billion stars, so I mean that's a fucking infinitesimally small. It's like less than a tenth that we've discovered.
God damn. Like just can you spin around? Like, yeah, there. That's human space, isn't it?
Yeah, well, we can turn on power play, and that'll bring up the bubble. So you can see the galaxy here, and it goes on to the edges here. You can pretty well go all the way out around here. Beyond that, it gets difficult. And then you can see here we got that's human occupied space right here.
Fuck.
So
it's
shit.
so tiny.
I'm way zoomed out here, so it's fucking my camera speed. There we go. So yeah, it's really small, and of course some of the systems go beyond that. Some of the human occupied systems. These are just really the ones that are controlled by.
It looks like there's
powers.
a couple way out there too.
Yeah, there's some sort of weird small bubbles. Like if we got, it's actually Bernard's Loop. There's none out there, but like Maya and stuff. There's a few small pockets.
No, I mean just like on the other side of the galaxy, it looked like there was some stuff. As well.
This?
Yeah.
They're just they're my bookmarks.
Oh, okay.
So I can turn those off.
Oh. Well, never mind.
Yeah.
That's,
so I mean, there you go.
That's so tiny.
It's really small, and of course we have Colonia as well. If we just
where's Colonia?
type that in, it's in. It's kind of closest to the center of the galaxy. Yeah, there you go, right there. And there's, of course, this is we got 400,000 people out there now, and there's a couple of the neighboring systems. If we just go in and say,
so this is like an independent system.
Well, what happened was because of so we'll say star class and then sort by population. Okay, so there's a couple out here that have some population. What happened was Jacques Station was the mobile station. It kind of jumped around, and of course we have a lot of mega ships and stuff that do that now as well. So like you can hop on a mega ship and every week it changes location. But before that, there was a Jacques Station, which was a regular, I think it was an Orbis station that kind of moved around the galaxy. And eventually, they decided, I guess, in the narrative, they're going to have the station make its way out to Beagle Point, which is on the opposite end of the galaxy. It's well over here. I just turned bookmarks on again. Yeah, it's Beagle Point right there.
Have you been there?
I have not. It's about 66,000 light years away from Earth, which is a lot.
In terms of real world hours, how long would it take you in your fastest ship?
It's changed a lot since the game has come out now. If you use the Neutron Highway, you could probably get there in 4. I mean, realistically, some people have done it really quickly and they know what they're doing. For sort of a casual player, you could probably get there in a day or a couple of days of like maybe 10, 12-hour play sessions. It's a very long time.
Of like, and that's not in-game hours. That's like
real world hours. Well, I mean, in-game hours is real world as well. Oh,
okay.
There we go, black hole.
Oh, cool. Is that thing in the center?
Yeah, you can kind of see that. Okay, the orbit line is freaking out here.
Is that the orbit?
Yeah, I'll turn that off. So I'm assuming this is discovered by somebody. It is. I've just been trying to find a black hole that's undiscovered and put my name on it. Because, of course, when you discover it, you can see that this guy here, X-Side, or ZD, whatever, he had his name on it.
Can you name them?
You can't name them, but when you turn in the data, if you've discovered it first, then you get to name them. Or put your name on them. Can we go
close? How close can we get?
We can try and get as close as we can.
I don't think I've seen them. So what is that supposed to be?
That's just the orbit line. I guess the other star is fairly... How far away is it? It's 105,000 light seconds, so I guess the orbit line is just trying to figure out the exact space where this would... Because the star is 105,000 light seconds away, because we're right on where the star would be, I guess it doesn't know where to put the line. I don't know. Anyway, I'm just turning this on so I can see.
Imagine if that was the actual orbit for these planets, and it was just like... Yeah. Like freaking the fuck out as they like roll around.
Passing the accretion disk here now, you're going to see all the stars start to warp around.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, cool. Wow. Don't kill yourself.
No. Oh, man, you can get rid of this. Is a tiny black hole. I don't want to... I'm going to end up hitting the exclusion zone.
Is that the point of no return?
It'll just drop me out. Oh, okay. There we go. Yeah. So your ship will automatically drop you out if you get too close. Just so you don't kill yourself. But we are 34 kilometers away from a black hole, so this is a really small one. But you can see the lensing effect that it has.
I remember once you showed me a pulsar and you flew into it. It was like... Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
So like,
I've always liked, because Neil deGrasse Tyson did a really cool episode on black holes for his Cosmos series, which if you haven't watched, is on Netflix. You absolutely should.
That's great.
It's great. And he called them dark stars, and I think that's a more apt name because it's not actually a hole in space. It's just an incredibly dense thing that sucks in all light. It's so dense that nothing can escape from it. But it's not actually a hole. It's not actually going anywhere. It's just coming in and being crushed by gravity, just into a singular point. Yeah. This is how it was explained to me. I don't know. That might not be, because again, I know like very little when it comes to black holes. Jesus Christ, it's like a David Bowie concert. Anyway, we should probably talk about some other stuff. Mario Odyssey came out.
It did. It came out today.
Yeah. I haven't played it because I don't have a Switch. I don't know anybody who has played it because the only person I know who has a Switch worked till 8. And he came home and he stopped answering texts. So I don't know.
I saw a couple of people playing it on Twitch.
You can play on Twitch? I'm assuming Nintendo would come down with a big boot of cease and
I would
desist.
kind of assume. I don't know what's going on with this. We're getting like 2 lensing effects of the galaxy here. It's really weird.
Jeff, you should absolutely put that music on and mute my mic because that was awful.
But it looks.
That's
I mean,
fuck, this is a pretty game.
I wouldn't. I don't want to sound like an asshole. If it was on PC, I would probably pick it up.
Well, you're not going to pay $300 for a Switch.
I don't want to buy a new console, and I don't want to have to buy the game at like full price. It doesn't look awful. It kind of looks like, homage to older like platforming games.
I've heard it's closest to Sunshine.
I guess. I mean, I'm not entirely familiar.
Like, it's only been out a day. Like, people barely had their hands on it. Apparently, the few people managed to get like an advanced copy, which was not very many. Apparently, they all said it's really good. Like IGN, unsurprisingly, gave it a 10 out of 10. But IGN would give, if Mario gave IGN syphilis, then IGN would rate that syphilis 10 out of 10. It's just what IGN does. So I don't trust their judgment, but like everyone else has been saying, yeah, it's a pretty cool game. It does look cool. Like Aaron, I also don't think I'm going to be picking it up just because I don't want to pay $300 for a new console. I might get a Switch used at some point if I can. My shirt is blending into the couch on the little view on the camcorder, so it looks like I'm doing this the whole time, even though I'm not. It's just in my head, so it looks like I'm shrugging all the time, but it's just because my shirt is the exact same color as the couch. It looks like my shoulders are right up here. It's really disconcerting.
All you can see is the
but yeah, so I've heard good things. A funny thing happened though. Apparently, somebody, if you're not familiar, we're a big fan of Jim Sterling on the show. I don't agree with, honestly, a super amount of what he says. I do think he has a lot of interesting points to make, but I think he kind of.
I'm not as big a fan as you. I think he's an okay guy.
Who?
Jim.
Yeah, he whinges on a bit, and I think he's a bit crude. He's a bit.
Man, that's so rude at him.
Well, not. I don't want to say, like, I like the guy. I think he does make a lot of really good videos. He's funny as hell, I think, but a lot of his opinion pieces get a bit preachy, in my opinion, and especially lately. Not that without cause, but like because he's been going on about the loot boxes and microtransactions, and he's done like 8 videos in a row now. I'm like, yeah, I get it. I get your point on these.
Yeah.
Talk about something else now.
Yeah.
I get it. I agree with you. Move on. But when Breath of the Wild came out, he gave it a 7 out of 10. He said it was a good game, he liked it, but he gave it a 7 out of 10. And to him, a 7 out of 10 is a 7 out of 10. But to everybody else, a 7 out of... You know how like some people think
it's a failure.
Yeah.
You failed.
Essentially. So everyone got real mad at him. So somebody trolled Jim by posting a fake review on Metacritic by him that was... like, just, this game sucks, I hate it, it's Nintendo.
So did they just say that it was by Jim Sterling? Or?
Yeah, it just said by Jim Sterling.
Oh.
And so Jim started getting a truckload of hate mail, and he was like, I didn't even write this! Leave me alone.
Yeah.
What's that down there?
This?
Under the accretion disc.
Well, this is like, I guess just
cloud?
gas.
No.
Just some weird clouds and various crap.
Is the Oort cloud outside of the solar system or outside of the galaxy? I can never remember.
I guess it's outside of the galaxy, I mean. Okay. And then we got Andromeda over there.
Can you go? I'm assuming you can't go there.
Nah, it's just a JPEG right now.
Oh.
One day maybe though. There was in the
Maybe there's a better game over than the one EA shat out.
oh, you can see Mass Effect over there. In the
Hang on, just go back.
over here.
Yeah, hang on. Wait. Yeah, those are shitty facial animations. That's Mass Effect, all right.
Oh man, EA Romania or whatever. whoever did that.
EA Somalia.
Yeah. In one of the
We
first,
put our studio here to save cost.
I think it was in the first Elite game. There was like 8 different galaxies you could go to.
Jesus.
They weren't as big as this one, obviously, but there was like back then on the 8 kilobits that they had to work with, it was like 2,500 different planets you could go to. I don't know how the hell they made that much shit. I mean, it was only white and black lines, but
still
a lot of shit for 8 kilobits.
I mean, EA can hardly fit a 4-hour story into a fucking game. We're coming out hard on EA today. I'm not apologizing. I'm just pointing out a fact. Oh, cool, Eagle Nebula. Can we go see the Pillars of Creation?
They don't exist.
Oh right, forgot about that. That sucks.
To anybody who's unfamiliar, the Pillars of Creation, which exist in the Eagle Nebula, if you've seen, there's a lot
Jesus.
Yeah, so what's going on here is these are all actually cataloged stars. Everything else has been randomly sort of generated by the Stellar Forge. So we know that those stars are there, but based on the matter and how the Stellar Forge works, they kind of doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. But anyway, so yeah, if you've seen like any pictures of space, you've probably seen the Pillars of Creation.
Do you want to flash up an image?
Yeah, I can probably pull up an image. And so, I mean, everybody's familiar with it, whether or not you know the name of it.
I mean, it's one of those, like, this is on, like, your science class in wall in high school kind of thing.
So we're going to get a real cool...
if you ever go to an observatory...
Space is going to revert here in a second as we leave the black hole. And just watch this. It'll be really cool. But anyway, okay, that was really fast.
That was cool.
I guess because it was a really tiny black hole, it didn't...
I wish it made that noise, like...
Whoop, whoop, whoop. But anyway, because, you know, the way light works, the Pillars of Creation aren't actually there anymore when this game takes place in the year 3300.
In fact, I don't even think they're there now.
They may not be there now. So, in this game, the nebula is still there, but the physical cloud formations have sort of dissipated.
Yeah, and basically, because nebulas are massive clouds of gas in space. It looks like I'm shrugging. I can't get over that. They're massive clouds of gas in space, and these had like 3 almost fingers.
Yeah.
And they were I mean, obviously, they were colored. They've been colored by people to our best approximation of what they would look like, but they're honestly beautiful. Like, some of my favorite pictures are nebulas and stuff taken by, like, the Hubble or whatever.
They're cool because they give a context to space. I mean, otherwise it's just a lot of darkness and points of light.
Yeah.
With nebulas, you really get, like, a sense of scale for how big these fucking things are.
Yeah, because, like, hundreds of thousands of stars lie in these nebulas.
Yeah.
I mean, they're the birthing places of stars, aren't they? Nebulas?
Well, yeah, yes and no, because they're also the graveyards of former stars. Oh, look at this. I got a pair of binary water worlds. Interesting. All right, well, let's grab this star and put our name on that.
What was I gonna say? Apparently, more EA news, just because...
Yep.
Taking it kind of easy this podcast, taking it out on EA. EA has shut down, I forget the name of the studio. I think it was called, or the name of the team. Just looking it up here now. Revive Network. Sorry. Revive Network was a group of modders, I guess, or enthusiasts. I don't know what you want to call them, but that's cool. But they're this group that ran servers for the old Battlefield games, like Battlefield 2 and was it 2142? Was that the other one, like the futuristic one?
Something like that, yeah.
And I think Battlefield 1942 and other games and stuff like that, like stuff EA is no longer willing to support, and EA shut them down. And the reason that they shut them down, so they said EA has asked us to the team Revive Network said EA has kindly asked us to shut down our thing, so we will. Their legal team has, and apparently the reason is not because they were running these servers, but because they use a lot of EA's intellectual property on their websites and stuff. So they used a lot of logos and they used a lot of artwork.
So were they not part of?
No, they weren't part of EA.
Okay.
This was like a fan thing, just to keep these games up on the go, and now they're shut down because. And I really do get protecting your intellectual right, but I don't know. I feel like you could work with these guys to keep these servers up, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's EA.
It's EA. Anyway, I just thought it was interesting to bring that up in addition to all the other shit we talked about EA. EA's having a rough PR week. They're having a rough PR everything because they're EA and they're one of the banes of this fucking industry.
Yep.
So, it's funny actually because you've seen the three of the major publishers because there's really like 5 major Western publishers. There's EA, there's Activision, there's EA, Activision, Ubisoft, Warner Brothers, and Bethesda. And 6, I guess, 2K games.
Yeah.
Those are like the big 6. 7 if you count Blizzard, but Blizzard is Blizzard, and
maybe Take-Two.
Yeah, maybe Take-Two. But yeah, so these are the big publishers, of the Western world. These are the guys that put out the most stuff, and it's interesting to see them all try to one up each other in terms of scumminess when it comes to the new games. Because Activision came out swinging hard with their microtransactions and stuff in Destiny, and then Warner Brothers answered that with the microtransactions and loot boxes in Shadow of War, and then EA has the play to win microtransactions in Star Wars Battlefront.
Yeah.
So it's funny. I wonder what Ubisoft is going to do next. They're going to have guys come over and punch you in the dick until you give them $5 for Assassin's Creed Origins, which launch trailer came out for Assassin's Creed Origins.
Is it not out already?
Assassin's Creed Origins?
Yeah, I think it's out, isn't it?
It came out today.
Okay.
Or yesterday, or whenever it was, but there was a launch trailer and it came out.
Oh, okay.
I was going to lead into the fact that it was... Because I haven't played it yet either.
Okay.
I'm waiting
because I saw Andrew playing it before we started.
I'm waiting for some... I'm only buying one game before Christmas, and it's probably going to be Battlefield. If it's not Battlefield... Battlefront, sorry. It's going to either be Battlefront. If it's not Battlefront, it's going to be Wolfenstein. But there's only a couple of games I'm picking up for Christmas. One of them is South Park. That is just a new South Park game, because that's also, I think, out now.
It is, yeah.
And I haven't played that one either. I'll be playing it. I'll be getting it for Christmas, and I'm probably also going to get Wolfenstein and maybe Assassin's Creed Origins. I'm going to see what Assassin's Creed Origins is like, because if it's a lot of dicking around and collectibles and
ask Andrew because he'll be the one to tell you.
Yeah, I will. And if it's a lot of the same Ubisoft kind of open world sandbox formula, I'm done with that, frankly, for now. So I won't be picking that one up. But if it's a good game, I'll absolutely be picking that up, because I haven't played an Assassin's Creed game since Assassin's Creed 4, and even then I didn't really play that. So it's really been since Assassin's Creed 3.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of ready for another Assassin's Creed game. And this one looks really good.
It looks pretty good.
Can you think of another game that takes place in ancient Egypt, like exclusively?
Apart from, some of the RTS, Total War games, they might have Egypt maps.
Yeah.
Like, an actual game that takes place in Egypt, I don't know. I mean, the first Assassin's Creed game, where did that take place? It was
that was Jerusalem.
Yeah. That's about as close as it gets, I guess, as far as I can think.
The only stuff I can think of is, Tomb Raider or games like that where it's they
might have an Egypt map or something.
Yeah, but that doesn't count because it's not actually in Egypt. So yeah. I'm really excited for this because I like ancient Egypt. They're really cool history.
Some cool islands down there.
What?
There's a series of islands on this water world.
Yeah. Can you get close?
Nah, well, I mean, I could probably get a bit closer. One of these days I'll be able to land down on that island. Don't have atmospheric landings yet, so I can't do that.
Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, so I think
it looks cool though.
What, Assassin's Creed?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna pick it up right away, but maybe as a Christmas game or something like that.
Yeah, because games are expensive, and my time this during the fall is limited because I'm doing grad level class, and I don't have time for a lot of video games, so it's probably going to be Battlefront, because a lot of you're getting Battlefront, and my friend Sandy's playing on Battlefront. What?
I accidentally bought it already.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Did you? How do you accidentally pre-order a game?
Well, I mean, I'm getting it. I'm gonna get it on PS4 and PC. I accidentally bought it on PC because I usually, I mean, I'm a Steam person. I don't usually use Origin a whole lot, but of course you got to use Origin in order to get this thing. So I wasn't sure if the price they had listed was in American or Canadian. So I said, well, I guess I'll add it to my cart, and then when I'll look at the PayPal receipt or whatever, and it'll say you need to pay this much, and I'll go, okay, well then now I know what the actual price is, because yes, you can do an American to Canadian conversion and say it's going to cost this much, but sometimes the prices are a bit different.
Yeah,
I guess these are like sandbars or something.
I find out with a lot of shipping sites where like, here's the price, and I'm like, okay, and I'll do the conversion, like, okay, it's this much Canadian, and I'll go to pay for it. It's like, oh, it's actually this much because we didn't think you lived in the middle of buttfuck nowhere.
Yeah. So I was like, I'm going to toss it in my cart. I'll know exactly how much I need to pay. Turns out at no point did they tell me how much it was going to cost. So I went in, I added it to my cart, went to the checkout, said like, you'll get a chance to review those before purchasing. I clicked PayPal, and then it said, thank you for your purchase. I was like, okay, I guess I own it, whatever it ended up being. I think it was like $110 or something like that.
How'd you get the special?
Fucking ridiculous. I wanted to see how much the special edition would cost. So I ended up buying that by accident. Anyway, whatever.
That's funny.
Yeah. I don't really care. Apparently, I guess you get to play that a couple days early. Which I really didn't want to spend an extra $20 for the nonsense garbage they give you in the thing. But I was going to buy it anyway, so... Like, at least the standard version anyway, so fuck it. I got it now.
Didn't Andrew end up buying 3 copies of Destiny 2?
He did, yeah.
Yeah.
That was...
Or Destiny or whatever it was?
Destiny, yeah. That was totally his fault, though. Like, the site that he had purchased them on didn't acknowledge his purchase, because I guess it changed in between him ordering it and before the game came out. And, I mean, he totally should have, like, emailed them or contacted somebody and said, like, can I cancel my purchase? But he just ignored it and assumed his purchase was gone. Like, it didn't go through. But, of course, it did. And then a couple days after release, he ended up with 2 collector's editions. One for Xbox, one for PlayStation on his doorstep. So.
It was funny.
So there you go, yeah. It's a waste of money. Anyway, I'm really looking for... November's a fucked month for games, man.
I mean, it already is I mean, look at the games that have come out for... And I'm not even counting, like... Oh, and the last game I'm going to pick up for Christmas is A Hat in Time. I really want to play that.
Looks cool.
Yeah, it looks cool. I want to give that a full review. But
we got Battlefront's coming out.
Yeah.
Thor's, I mean, it's not a game, but it's coming out next month.
Fuck month for entertainment.
Yeah, we got Vampires coming out.
Yeah. Ooh, I forgot about that one.
Horizon, the Horizon Zero Dawn DLC. The Outcast remake, Second Contact, that's coming out in the middle of November. And it's nuts. And of course, Battlefront. I don't know if I mentioned that already, but that's also coming out.
I mean, but then like three massive games have launched in the span of a day.
Yeah.
And we got South Park, which looks absolutely fucking awesome.
It is fun. I've actually been playing the Stick of Truth as well, and
yeah, I've noticed that.
It's South Park. I mean, it's
also fun. It's just a fun game.
Yeah, but it's like it's cool that you can say it nonchalantly that it's like it's a genuine South Park experience.
Yeah.
But Obsidian did a fantastic job of staying true to the source material and keeping that the jovial but also very adult humor there. So.
I like when you go up, it's like, Brave Warrior, what is your name? And you type in your name, it's like, what? You say your name is what was it?
Douchebag.
Douchebag. You say your name is Douchebag. Is this correct? And you're like, no. It's like, it is. Why, everyone, say hello to Douchebag.
Yeah, that's funny. You get an achievement for agreeing with him twice.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
I think I did that after. Also, I love the 4 classes in the game. Where was it? Wizard, Rogue, Fighter,
and Jew.
which was a monk. I'm pretty sure.
It was like a monk plus.
It was a monk that got a lot of strength. The more they got hit, the more damage they did.
It was like a monk plus a rogue or something like that.
Yeah.
Was it? Some combination of classes.
But and I love how in the second game in Fractured Butthole, which first off, can we congratulate Trey
Trey Parker and Matt Stone?
Yeah, thank you. for getting that title out and just being able to make a game called Fractured Butthole.
Yeah.
But I love that the in this game, the difficulty setting is based off your skin color, and if you choose yourself as a transgendered person, the first thing that happens when you leave the starting area is you get the shit kicked out of you by a bunch of rednecks. Like, you walk out of the school where you like pick your character, and then a truck full of rednecks drives up onto the lawn, and they jump out trying to kill you. That's fantastic. I wish I could write satire that well. That's awesome. I don't even know if that's satire. That's just what happened.
Commentary on society.
Yeah, it's just, man, that's so funny.
Yeah. And I think the combat system in that game is different as well by the looks of it.
Yeah, I think they've expanded a lot.
Yeah. So it's interesting. I'm not... It's fun. I like that they've kind of made turn-based combat also somewhat skill-based. Because you kind of need to, like, time your clicks when you're doing stuff. Some of it's a bit finicky in the Stick of Truth, I'm speaking from. I find it a little bit finicky sometimes, like it doesn't register your clicks, or it just doesn't work 100% of the time for whatever reason. Like where sometimes it'll say, like, you know, click when the thing flashes, and you click, and then it's like...
Because that's what your super attacks do.
Yeah.
Like, you do more damage.
So it's like, okay, it's like it flashes, you click. It's like, and then you get, most of the time, you'll just get a perfect, or you'll do maximum damage. But then other times, it's like, you click, and then it's like, too late, and then it just backs away, and you do like 1 point of damage. You're like,
yeah,
what the fuck?
I didn't find that for the console version, so it might just be a PC thing.
Maybe I don't know.
I liked the different like super moves, because each you can recruit the different like boy characters. Like Matt, Stan and Kyle and Cartman and Butters and all that. They can all be your allies in this fight. Yeah. And I love when you get fuck, not Timmy. Who's the is it Jimmy?
Jimmy,
who's the guy with no legs?
With no legs?
Or his legs are
well, Jimmy doesn't have, Jimmy's legs are broken, I
guess.
Yeah,
Jimmy, it was disabled. Jimmy. And I got he's the bard, and when he's trying to strum a song, and he's just like, there once was a man. There was a man. A man. And he kind of like tapped the A button to get him to stop stuttering.
Yeah, he'll keep repeating himself because he can't say something, and then it'll flash up on the screen like press whatever the button is to skip. Yeah, it's like you have to press skip in order for him to like advance. Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Are you seduced? Seduced?
Yeah. That was fun. And he plays the brown note as well.
Like, oh yeah. And then they only shit themselves.
Yeah. Kenny's fucking useless though.
He gets a good move later on.
Okay. Because I'm trying to get all the achievements in a single playthrough, and one of his special attacks is literally dying. Yeah. And one of the achievements is to make sure that you finish every encounter with all of your with your buddies conscious. Yeah. So it's like I can't play with him and do that special because he dies and then that's it.
Which special is that?
Fucking, I don't know. It's like the one with the rats where you just like.
Oh yeah, well you got to just shake them off. You got to shake the rats off.
Oh, you have to do. Oh, okay. I thought. All right. I mean, I pressed the button that was flashed on the screen. I assumed him dying was part of the thing. No. So I just reloaded and didn't. I'm not using that one anymore because.
That's a good move though, because it does like sick damage or whatever the fuck.
Again, I guess it was another one of those scenarios where the move didn't work properly or something. But anyway,
like Mr. Have you got? You should get the summons too, because they're all pretty fun. Like
yeah, I've got Mr. Slave. That's as far as I just did the Bard level. That's.
Doesn't he come down and like shove his ass, like he like shoves his ass onto the enemy or something?
I haven't used him yet.
Okay.
I've just been saving the summons. Oh, I don't care.
It's a fun game.
It's a pain in the ass to get all the achievements in a single playthrough because a lot of them are missable.
I like they even get like when the scene changes, you hear like dome 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 dome. Yeah. And it just feels so South Park, and I mean I guess it's because it's easy animation, but they get the look of it too. Because if you look at like the old Simpsons games for like GameCube or whatever, like they didn't capture the look great. Yeah. And I guess it's just a difference in style. But I mean, it looks like it
totally is, yeah. Yeah. Though there is one of the elements is jarring because the cutscenes are videos. So like every time Cartman is talking to you, or the guys all round up, and there's like a bunch of different camera cuts. Yeah. That's a video. and they sort of superimpose your character on top of it.
Yeah.
And it's very obvious that your character doesn't belong in the scene because it's like they made the scene and then put your... I mean, they obviously made the cutscenes with putting the character in place, but they couldn't put your character in the video because you can customize the look of your character and stuff. So they had to put it in later, and it just looks very obvious because your character is like very crisp and clear and clean, and then everybody else is like video quality. So it's a little...
What part are you at in the game?
I'm on... I just started day... I guess it's the end of day 1, where I got abducted by the aliens.
Oh, okay.
So
you haven't gotten to the underpants gnomes bit yet?
No.
Okay, let me know when you get to there, because there's a thing that happens.
I've read a couple of the different sections,
Okay.
just to make sure I don't miss achievements when I do get to certain areas. But yeah, I haven't really read a whole lot into the narrative.
Yeah, let me know when you get to the underpants gnome bit, because there's a fight that happens, and the fight ends in probably the best way a fight could possibly end.
All right.
It's pretty fantastic.
It's a good game.
Have you gotten all the... Getting all the Chimpokomon, or whatever the fuck they're called, is a pain in the ass.
It is, because there's a couple that are missable.
Yeah. Chimpokomon!
But it's cool. Yeah, I've been following a couple of different guides. I really wish someone would just do a roadmap of it, like, do this, then this, then this, then this. A lot of them are like, here's all the achievements and how to get them. It's like, this is useless, because if I get to this area, I can't just read through all the achievements every single time to make sure I didn't miss one, you know? Like,
yeah.
So it's kind of shitty that way, but so that's mostly been my. I've kind of been taking it slow, and that's mostly the reason why. Is because I just want to make sure that I can get all the achievements in a single run through.
What class are you playing as?
Jew, because there's I think 2 or 3 achievements that are tied to playing Jew class, so that's one that I picked. I don't think there's any tied to other classes.
No.
So. But it's a fun class because it's kind of. You can kind of do whatever you want in the game anyway. You're not really limited to your class. You're kind of just limited to the weapons that you use.
Yeah.
So I think the classes just really determine your specials, or your special abilities or whatever. But I mean,
by the way, I hope you're ready to hear the national anthem in 8-bit when you get to Canada.
I saw someone streaming it on Twitch like back when it was new, and I saw the Canada bit, and it was like all 8-bit and shit. It was funny.
It's like the same loop of music. I'm like, God damn! Here's every time I go to a hockey game.
Yeah.
Anyway, we should probably clue up. That's a cool
probably.
plan.
Yeah. This is a I guess it's a brown dwarf. I don't know what if it's anything else. Yeah, it's a Y dwarf. So it is a brown dwarf, but it's Y class. Very cool, as in temperature star. So.
Yeah.
Yep. So that'll do it for this week. Thanks for coming along on our trek of space.
Yeah, kind of a take it easy kind of podcast.
Yeah.
Not a lot happened this week, so we'll.
Yeah.
Next week we'll be back with more because hopefully by next week we'll have seen Thor 2.
Hopefully, yeah. I mean that comes out on
Ragnarok.
Yeah. I mean we still got to see Blade Runner as well, but
yeah, at some point.
Whatever. If we don't see it in theaters, we'll just watch it on Blu-ray or whatever when it comes out.
There's been so many movies that come out. I've missed, like, the ones I've missed, I felt bad for missing originally, because I was like, man, I'm not going to get to see Aliens or Pirates or The Mummy, and they all came out and they're like, you don't have to see those. I'm like, oh, that's good.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Ragnarok's going to be good, though. It's been getting good reviews.
Yeah.
So, and of course, it's a Marvel movie. They've yet to miss, really.
Yeah, except for the Inhumans, but we'll talk about that later. Anyway,
the films, anyway.
Yeah, the films. Anyway, let's go, because I want to get something to eat.
Yep.
I'm starving. I haven't eaten since 2 o'clock, and it's currently 11:15.
It's almost 12 hours without eating at them. All right, well, we'll see you next time, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Bye-bye.
Bye.